I apologize for any camera shake. My camera, the one that I usually use for the videos that I do, the battery ran off or ran down and it shut off on me. So I'm going to do this again, but it takes forever to upload videos from the iPhone, especially when my router needs to be hooked up to everything. So it's a real bitch to try to get it done, but the uploading done. But anyway, I wanted to note the death of actress June Lockhart, who died Thursday at the age of 100. So she was one of the last of the Hollywood Golden Era performers. And she was the daughter of Gene and Kathleen Lockhart. They were both actors, both pretty well-known actors. And her debut, as noted in this obituary from Variety, her debut was in A Christmas Carol, and I got that on DVD a couple of years ago, and she looked very much the same then as she did as an older lady, and it astonished me that anybody from that movie could still be alive who was not an infant. And here she was, and she was well into her 90s. She was close to 100 then. Sorry about sneezing. But she was by the time I bought that video. So anyway, and then she was in a lot of movies, as this notes, and I'll put it in the description if and when I get this thing uploaded. And then her movie work was less well known than her television work, and she was one of the moms, one of the original moms in the 50s, where they stayed home, they did all this stuff. But her character in Lassie, and that's what I'm thinking of, she wasn't actually the mother of Tim, who was portrayed by John Provost. She was actually, her character adopted Tim. And I met John Provost, I'd say 2007 or 2008. He and his wife, Lori Jacobson, at the Hot August Night celebration in Reno, Nevada. And we chatted for a little while. He's a really nice guy and everything. And he reminded me that because I had noted that she and he looked a lot alike, and he reminded me, well, their characters were not related, which was true. But you wonder if the producers picked them, cast the way they did, because they looked so much alike. But anyhow, from that time that she was on that series, and then she lost her job. Well, she didn't lose her job, but they wrote her out of the series. And then what they did, they wrote her and Provost out of the series because the producers wanted to try a new thing. So what they did with the dog is they paired the dog off with a ranger, and the dog kind of went and did her own thing. And then eventually the dog was the sole star of the show towards the end of its run. And the dog had all these exciting adventures. There were several dogs that played Lassie, and they were all descended from the original Lassie, who was in the MGM film Lassie Come Home. Those were all the original dog, all descendants of the original dog. But this dog had the adventures to the point where Lassie had puppies, which was quite a deal, which would have been a medical or veterinary history, because Lassie was a male. All of the dogs who portrayed Lassie were males. And there was a reason for that. I think males were considered easier to train. They also didn't, I think, shed as much, but they were regarded as easier to handle. I guess they thought the females were bitchy, too bitchy for the part. So they had the males come in and do it. But anyway, June Lockhart passed away on Thursday. So another person from my childhood died. And after she did Lassie, she's probably best known for her performance in Lost in Space. And she was the matriarch in that show. And I didn't watch it very much. I thought it was kind of too what's the word I want to, campy. But it has a big cult following. So anyway, that was the end of that. And then, of course, the big story last week. And I know I haven't been on here much in the last month except to do short videos. But because I just didn't have anything to comment about. But the big story was, of course, the symbolic one about Trump destroying the White House. A big section of the White House to put a cheap-ass ballroom in there. And some were speculating about the bunker that's below the East Wing. And what that is. And that he's scared, that he's paranoid because of all the protests and stuff. He's just out of his head. Whether he's got Alzheimer's like his dad did, and of course that's not considered hereditary, but you know, whether he has that or just plain old dementia, and it's hard to say because he was always stupid as fuck. And the only thing stupider than him are the people who voted for him. And they've set up this mess that I don't know how the hell we're going to get out of. But he's getting nuttier and nuttier. So he tears down this stinking damn, or I don't say stinking damn. He tears down the East Wing to put in this stinking damn ballroom. That you know it's going to have all that gold shit on it. Just like the Oval Office has been turned into a awful eyesore. Absolutely awful. And whether Trump has it in his head, he has no intention of leaving except in a gold-plated pine box or not. I don't know. But he's off his rocker crazy. And then, of course, the old Miller and Steve Miller, who I can't figure out. He's a fascist, but he's Jewish. How the hell does that happen? But only thing I could think of about that is that he is off his rocker mentally. And so is Russell Vogt. And they're finding out, hey, at least Vogt's finding out, hey, he can't get through everything he wants to get through. His little libertarian fantasies will eventually bite him in the ass. But anyway, $300 million for this goddamned elephant. No pun intended. And all these stinking donors. And I wish to hell that the Daily Beast would quit putting shit under a paywall. They need to quit doing it. Let's look back here. These fuckers think they can do that. And then there's a big damn thing. And all this shit's under a paywall. All this goddamn crap is under a paywall. And I mean, every damn one of these is under a paywall. Here we go. The East Wing demolition, and it's symbolic. And it's not his house. That's the fucking thing. They wrecked the Rose Garden because they were afraid of women's high heels getting stuck in the grass or some damn shit. Well, throw the goddamn high heels in the garbage can. They're bad for your feet. They should have left that Rose Garden alone. But here it is, and by Stephen Collinson. And look at that. Look at that absolute nightmare. Everyone says the same thing the first time they go inside the White House. It's much smaller than they expected. That's what they say about Graceland, too. Elvis's estate. Inside the West Wing, the Oval Office, the Cabinet Room, and the offices of top officials are within steps of one another. The Executive Mansion, with its great state spaces like the East Room and the State Dining Room, is elegant but intimate. The Cross Hall, leading to the front door on the north front of the building, is imposing but not overwhelming. It's always been on my bucket list to visit there. I'm probably never going to get there at this rate. This is where the haunting picture of a pensive John F. Kennedy hangs, and where President Barack Obama walked down a long red carpet to announce the killing of Osama bin Laden in May 2011. There's nothing like the scenes in the TV show, The West Wing, with idealistic young staffers. Oh, shit. Quit popping up, you asses. Doing the walk and talk through endless corridors of busy power players. If you tried to do that in the real West Wing, you'd hit a wall and break your nose. And most presidents, unlike you-know-who loaded up the Oval Office with gold trinkets, stick to traditional dignified furnishings. The place is tasteful but discreet. It hums with quiet intensity, but not brawny. The power here is great, and it enhances itself through understatement. There's no need to boast. But we have somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder, probably. And so it doesn't matter. But anyway, he goes through all of the tour of the White House. But that's all gone now, turned into dust and rubble in a couple of extraordinary days when demolition teams ripped apart the East Wing on the orders of Trump, who had no business doing it, who is itching to build his $300 million ballroom in its place. There may never have been a better metaphor for a presidency. Trump has spent 9 months tearing away at the federal government, the rule of law and democracy. Now he's turned his wrecking ball on the White House itself, all without consulting the citizens who gave him a temporary lease on the place. He acts like he owns it. Democrats, preservationists, and historians slam Trump as a Philistine. His spokespeople counter that many presidents changed the White House. And true, but no modern president contemplated Trump's stark destruction, which followed his paving over the iconic Rose Garden to emulate the terrace at his Mar-a-Lago retreat in Florida, complete with yellow sun umbrellas. And what about the ballroom? The grand design seems to get bigger every time Trump pulls out his prints of artist impressions. You know damn well he's getting grift out of this. Visiting NATO Secretary Mark Rutte, or whatever his name is, looked surprised to get a sneak preview of plans of Trump's new labor of love monstrosity rather than maps of war-rattled Europe in the Oval Office on Wednesday. 90,000 square feet, twice the size of the White House itself, and daubed with his signature gold leaf that can accommodate huge events and parties. Oh my God, look at that. Look how damn ugly that shit is. He has no freaking... Oh God, is that what it's going to look like? And he has absolutely no business doing it. But he has no business being in there. And the only thing more contemptuous than Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and Russ Vought are the goddamn fools who voted for him. And now... it looks like there will be no SNAP benefits next month if they don't agree to opening or reopening the government. They're pulling this damn shit. And people are going to die. But hey, he's really brave. He's really a man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I have contempt for it. And last week I went to that No Kings thing. And I wore a shirt. I didn't bring a sign. And I wanted to have that necklace that it's in Morse code, fuck Trump. But it didn't get here until Thursday, so that was a little late. So I'll have to wait for the next rally. But there were thousands of people there. It was peaceful, like everywhere in the country. No matter how much they try to stir shit up, people aren't buying it. But yeah, he's got $20 billion bailout for Argentina. And he seems oblivious to the cost of living because he can pay for his own damn health insurance. So this is all such a mess. I mean, what a mess. But it's the damn voters who are stupid, absolutely stupid, to continue voting and supporting this pile of shit. So anyway, that's my rant. Because this is going to probably take 2 days to upload. And that's all I have to say for today. Until next time. But he came and trashed the place. And it's the people's place. It's not his. to destroy.